Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Sunday, June 8th, 2025, about 11:30 in the morning. And as you can see, I'm out here in the man cave, and this is going to be part two of my No-Carb June series. And it's been a week now since I started on this, back on the carnivore diet strictly, and I thought I'd give you an update and tell you about a few more things about it. So basically, yesterday was 7 days, and so one of the things I talked about before was the improvement in mental clarity that a lot of people say they experience when they first start on the carnivore diet. Now, I'll have to say this time I didn't see it quite as dramatically as I did the first time. I do think I'm thinking a little more clearly, but the first time I ever did it, there was like a night and day improvement, and it hasn't quite been that way as much this time. My energy level's better. I got to purge the rest of the bad food stuff out of my system, so my system is acting more like it does when you're on carnivore diet, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But one of the things I didn't tell you about in part one, well, first of all, I had somebody mention that I'm not looking at the camera when I talk, and that's true, and the reason why that is because the screen here is, I'm looking at the screen, and the camera is actually up over here in the corner. And so yeah, it's kind of hard to tell what you're doing and look at the camera at the same time, just the way the camera's set up on this phone. So if that's the worst thing we have to worry about, I think we're in pretty good shape. Also, I got the shadow of the camera down here in the bottom corner. Trying to see if I can figure out a way to get rid of that. Anyway, so what am I experiencing? Well, my energy level's better. My system, I was hungry for the first couple of days, and after I worked my way through all the residual carbs that I had in my system, that went away, and so I don't have any hunger at all. I guess the question would be, am I cheating? And the answer is no, none whatsoever. I've been a good boy. I've been doing what I'm supposed to. All I drink in the morning is coffee and water, and in the afternoon all I drink is water. No sodas, no juices, nothing like that. So I'm down about 3 pounds. On the last video, I think I got the numbers mixed up. I think I told you that I started out weighing 178.6, and actually it was 176.8 is what it was. I got the numbers swapped. And so I'm only down about 3 pounds in the first week. But I have noticed my clothes actually feel a little bit looser. So I'm losing a little bit of bulk. And but I should tell you about some things I didn't tell you about in the first installment. And that is another reason that put me onto this is that when I went on the carnivore diet the first time, one of the things I was experiencing was a lot of joint pain and stuff from arthritis. And part of that was because of the meds I was on as well. And to go way back is, I started having a lot of problems with my neck. And there's that shadow again. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I guess we're just going to have to live with that, I guess. But anyway, I was having a lot of problems with my neck. And the way that manifested itself was that if I went out with the Jeep and bouncing around at all on a back road, I'd be in absolute agony for about a week afterwards. And I'd been to the doctor about all that and all this kind of stuff, and she basically told me that it was rheumatoid arthritis, and that was the way it was, and I could go through some physical therapy and stuff, but that was probably, I was going to have to live with that the rest of my life. Well, that actually prompted me to sell the Jeep. And I've said many times in many videos that I really regret having to do that. But I did, and that's been almost 10 years ago now. Been right around 10 years ago now. Because I got the van. About the time I got the vans, one of the reasons I sold the Jeep was I decided I had too darn many vehicles, because I had my old truck, I had my van, and I had the Jeep, and I had my new truck, and how many vehicles does a guy really need? So, but anyway, as a part of that initial going on carnivore, after a period of about a year, I realized all that inflammation went away. Well, this time around, I noticed my knees were starting to hurt again. My lower back was starting to hurt, and I started to feel that feeling in my neck again. And so it was telling me I was getting too much inflammation. That inflammation is caused by too many carbs and too much processed food. So I experienced that. I also was experiencing the beginnings of peripheral neuropathy. And that's the thing that diabetics and pre-diabetics experience. And it has to do with poor circulation in your hands and feet. And what was happening with me is at night, the top of my feet would get a burning sensation. And it has to do with capillary damage. And a lot of it has to do with high blood sugar levels and insulin resistance. And I was experiencing a little bit of that. But the thing maybe that scared me the most was my vision appeared to be getting a little bit different. I wasn't able to see as good. And it was just something that, nobody else had probably noticed, but, I'm inside my head every day. And it just seemed like my vision wasn't as good as it should be. Now, part of that, I have to admit, I haven't been to the doctor and gotten new glasses in quite a while. And I broke my old glasses, and so the ones I'm wearing now are actually 2 prescriptions ago. And so they're not quite right. And but being the cheapskate I am, I decided I could get by with them. I still need to go and have my eyes checked again. But the idea of my vision starting to go bad, that scared the daylights out of me. I mean, the type of person I am, I'd be in a world of hurt if I can't see. And so those 3 things, I didn't talk about them in part 1, but those 3 things all figured into why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, number 1, has my inflammation, my pain gone away? Starting to. After a week, I'm starting to notice a difference. I mentioned my energy levels are better. I have not experienced an episode of the burning of my feet since I started going back on the carnivore diet. And I haven't really noticed a difference in my vision, but I certainly am paying attention to that. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have a history of glaucoma in my family, which will cause the same thing. And I also, the last time I went to the eye doctor, and that's been quite a while ago now, he told me I had just the very initial beginnings of cataracts. And so my problem might be that I'm gradually developing cataracts as I get older. And of course, like I always say, I'm 76. I'm not a kid anymore. But that's where I'm staying right now. So what else have I noticed after being back on the carnivore diet for a week? Well, one of the things I mentioned that, you don't, when you go potty, you don't poop as much. Well, I'm back to normal on that. Maybe 25% of what a person normally would do after I got myself cleared out. And that took about, 4 or 5 days. But one of the things that happens when you start metabolizing the stuff that's built up in the fat cells, when you start actually losing that belly fat, and that's what comes with this, is the way you get rid of that stuff is your body metabolizes it and it turns it into urine. And so you have to be careful not to get dehydrated, and you find out that you pee a lot. And so, being an old guy without a prostate, I pee a lot anyway. So you got to be real careful about not getting dehydrated, especially in the summertime when it's hot. And you just realize that you're going to go pee a lot. And the other thing is when you get into ketosis, which is what you want to do, is that the ketones that you're passing from your body will give your urine a very strong odor. And once you understand what that is, you'll know what it is. It's kind of hard to describe, but once you smell it, you know what that smell is. And so I can tell when I'm in ketosis just by the odor of my urine. And I haven't quite got there yet. I think I'm still burning down some of that, getting rid of some of that belly fat, and that might take a couple more weeks yet before that goes away. And the other thing about that belly fat is that belly fat contains a lot of sugar. So what that means is that your blood sugar reading doesn't go down quite as fast as you think it should. And I ran into that the first time around. And I understand that now, so it doesn't surprise me. Now, my blood sugar is down, but it's not down below 100 like I want it to get it down below 100. But it is down from what it was, which is a positive sign. I think it'll go down more. So that's kind of my report for right now. I've only been doing it for a week, and I'm seeing results. I'm feeling a little bit better. But also on that last that part one, I actually got a very nice comment back from a viewer, and I want to read that to you. And I've got it down here. I got my laptop in front of me, so let's see if I can figure out a way to do this. And bring the thing over here. This is from a viewer named Kathy, and I just got this this morning, and so she said it was because of your last post on carnivore, which would have been the one some time ago, prior to this part one, not this last one. I switched to it last July 1st. After 3 days, I felt immediately better and gained more clarity eating a clean diet. I am down 50 pounds and off of insulin and 4 of my 5 prescriptions, and that's amazing. I'm not completely health-wise there yet, but I will be. I am excited for you on your return to carnivore. I think I came to your channel for your Bigfoot info. I had an encounter with 2 or 3 of them many years ago. I could almost say that I'm healing on carnivore because of the forest people. Thank you for everything, Chuck. And that's very cool, and thank you very much, Kathy. I actually pinned that to the comments on the part 1 video. And let me read to you what I answered her. I said, you are most certainly welcome, Kathy. I'm a firm believer in the health benefits of the carnivore diet, and I've talked about it periodically ever since I started this little YouTube channel. Stories like yours confirm to me that I need to continue sharing what I'm doing myself, as well as sharing others' experiences. I plan on shooting part 2 of this story today, which is what we're doing right now, and I'm going to read your comment as a part of that video. I'll also pin it to the top of the comments on part 1. Someone, somewhere, may hear your story, and it may help them make the decision to try the carnivore diet themselves. So, anyway, that's my report after 1 week. We're doing better, and I'm happy. My energy level's fine. I'm not hungry. I feel great. And so let me, as I always tell you, take care of each other, love each other, be grateful for what you have, and if you're teetering on the fence about trying the carnivore thing, give it a try. The worst that can happen is you don't like it and you can go back to your other diet. But there are some definite health benefits. I've experienced it, Kathy's experienced it, and a lot of other people have experienced it as well. And there's some other people who have commented as well that I didn't read their comments. And so go check the comments on that part 1, and give it some serious thought. It just might be something that might save your quality of life, or might even save your life itself. And so with that, let me just tell you, until we talk to you again, I'll give you an update on that. But until I talk to you again, let me just tell you, peace out.